Hello everyone, thank you for joining us today. My name is Cameron Smith and I'm the Sales Director for Sentia UK and Ireland. And I'm joined today by Patrick Lennon from Tourism Ireland. Patrick is the Content Coordinator for Tourism Ireland and he is here to present a story of collaboration with other Irish tourism agencies to produce a shared content pool for the promotion of tourism in Ireland. Patrick is going to take you through the journey they took for the implementation of the Sentia DAM platform. Tourism Ireland have been a Sentia customer for 3 years, and the original case study was shared with me during my interview process with Sentia. And it certainly piqued my interest at the time, and it definitely contributed to my decision to join Sentia. So I'm very excited to introduce this presentation today. Tourism Ireland is a very interesting story, and you're going to be treated to some fantastic imagery as part of this presentation today. So please stay tuned. After the presentation, Patrick will be available to answer any questions you may have. And please be aware that there will be a recording of this session available. So without further delay, I'll hand over to Patrick.
Thank you, Cameron, and thank you for the opportunity to present here today. The topic on which I'm going to be talking about is Tourism Ireland's growing maturity in DAM. My name, as Cameron has indicated, is Patrick Lennon, and I work for Tourism Ireland. And my job involves working with a lot of the content that Tourism Ireland generate on behalf of our partners to promote the island of Ireland right across the world. But first of all, let me give you a little bit of an introduction into some of the points that I'll be covering today. First is I'll give you a little introduction into the showcase for Ireland itself. Then we'll have a little talk about the grand project, which for public viewers and users of the DAM system is called Ireland's Content Pool. Then we'll have a look at why we choose a DAM to manage our content, and also why we've chosen Sentia to be our partner on this particular project. Marketing and COVID-19 is a topic that has been at the forefront of a lot of our planning and also a lot of our work over this last year, and I'll touch on that and what the impact has been, particularly on the island of Ireland and the industry here, tourism industry. And then we'll look at some of the enhancements and innovations that we're working with at the moment with Sentia to improve the functionality and to improve the DAM system that we have. And then I'll also then look at the end at some of the stats for the usage of the DAM system that we have, and also look at some of the future developments that we're looking to introduce later this year. The DAM partnering that we have done over this last 8 years has been very important, both to Tourism Ireland and our partners on this particular project. The insights I'm going to give you now just explain a little bit about who we are as Tourism Ireland, but also who our partners are and the scope at which we work to in terms of the geographical areas. So as Tourism Ireland, we are the body that markets the island of Ireland overseas. That's to the rest of the world. That's everywhere outside of the island of Ireland. So we have offices in 20 locations around the world. In various countries. We also have agencies that work on our behalf in other countries, and our main role is to encourage people to travel to the island of Ireland on a holiday. Our partner for the DAM over this last number of years has been Fáilte Ireland. They're the product development organization for the Republic of Ireland, and their remit is very much in the Republic of Ireland, though they do market for homestay holidays to the whole island of Ireland. And for the DAM that we have at the moment, our third partner is Tourism Northern Ireland. Again, as their name suggests, they're based in the north of Ireland. They're a tourism product development organization, and they also market as well to the island of Ireland for homestays. And it is very much the island of Ireland that the content that we have generated, that we have collaborated on, and that we have hosted within our DAM system is focused on. It's all about the island of Ireland and how we can make this a place that people will want to come on holiday. Now, the Ireland's Content Pool project was something that was started quite a number of years ago. We have had image banks, brand portals in the past, and we have collectively and individually had smaller dam systems. But in terms of this particular project, this dam project that we're working with Censure is the biggest collaboration project between the 3 tourism organisations across the island of Ireland. The content that's hosted on our dam and distributed via the dam is a great support to Tourism Ireland and our partners in our efforts to market the island of Ireland. The content pool itself is used daily by Tourism Ireland staff, by our partner staff as well, by the tourism industry here on the island of Ireland, by our trade partners overseas, and by media outlets overseas as well. And the new dam system that we have in place with Censure takes Tourism Ireland and our partners into the 2nd generation dams and beyond. And for us, we tend at times to talk about the dam system, but we also call it Ireland's content pool. It's become very much a brand in itself, both internally and to our partners right across the world. Now, some of the visuals here I'll show you of the various portals that we have set up and within the dam system. And we have both portals which are outward facing for the use of the public, where they can come in and have access to a number of the assets that we have. And we have also internal systems as well, and internal domains that we have set up via Censure. So for Ireland's content pool, which is showcases the assets that are held by Tourism Ireland, Fáilte Ireland, and also by Tourism Northern Ireland, and very much is outward looking to the whole world, is the public portal, Welcome to Ireland's content pool. For Tourism Northern Ireland, who have a bespoke requirement in the north of Ireland to have a separate portal for their home market, called Northern Ireland's Content Pool, we have set up a secondary public portal. And this portal has assets from Tourism Northern Ireland, and also those assets which are have been commissioned and curated on behalf of Tourism Ireland, which feature Northern Ireland, also appear. And as I've said, we have 3 separate domain areas, which are branded for each of our uses. And it's across these domains that we're able to share the content via the functions within Censure, and also present those assets to the world via the content pools. Now, the benefits from partnering are significant, and they're something that I want to have a little look at now. As I've mentioned, collaboration between the 3 sister agencies across the island of Ireland is very important. There are efficiencies, there are cost savings that we can have, not just in terms of the dam system itself, but also in terms of our commissioning exercise and the sharing of content. And that's facilitated through the Censure Dam system. Staff from each agency are making up the project team that we have presently, but also we're involved in the tendering process in order to acquire a new dam system as well. And the project lead rotates between each organisation on an annual basis. So it's a true partnership and true collaboration. One of the benefits of working together meant that we're able to deliver actually the go live on this new version of the content pool during COVID-19 lockdown between March and September last year. And as 3 organizations together, we sought to choose the best in class digital asset management solution that we could find. And we wanted to make sure that was future proofed as well for our needs going forward over the next 5 years. The transition that we had introduced was done very much in cooperation with the Censure team. And I have to say a big thank you to the team in helping us to transition over 100,000 assets between the old systems that we had and the new system that we have at the moment. And it can be argued, a little bit like a well-known brand of Danish beer, that no project at this scale in travel and tourism has been conceived and delivered. This is one of the great benefits from having partnered. Although we have a lot of assets, although the intricacies of joining up together on our U system and making sure that the function meets all our needs was quite involved. But it does mean that something of this nature for the whole island of Ireland, for the industry and for our trade overseas, it's a one-stop shop for the assets that they need as well to market the island of Ireland. Now, why choose a DAM system? One of the big benefits is the process improvements. It leads to efficiencies of workflow and reduction in costs. Last year, I was asked to speak to some DAM students, and I showed them as part of that particular presentation some of the tools that we'd used in the past to distribute content right across the world. And we had floppy drives, we had zip drives, we had DVDs, we had video actually held on film, and that content was literally boxed up and sent off to various countries around the world. The DAM system allowed us to take that particular workflow model, and reduce it down into a digital system that people can access wherever they are in the world and can download the assets that they need. It also allows us to store master files that are downloaded in multiple forms. So we can have one master file of the particular content, and at point of download, people can choose what particular format they work with, which is really, really important and helps to speed up the efficiencies of getting some of our campaigns and promotions to market quickly. Value asset realization via metadata. Metadata is very much the currency of digital assets, and the value of each individual asset that we have is very much tied into the metadata. And it also means that we have a certain amount of asset security and usage as well, in terms of the scope of use for each individual asset via the information held in the metadata. Consistency of brand means that we have a one-stop shop for all approved content, and that's becoming more and more important in ensuring that the brand message that we have is communicated effectively, not just for Tourism Ireland, but also for our partners as well. And the reduction in time to market, as I hinted at before, we now can do real-time marketing through social media communications via the DAM system that we have and via the access to the assets that are there. And the curation of content from external sources. There's a lot of content held by influencers, by our trade partners, by the industry here in the island of Ireland, and by creatives, collectively sometimes known as user-generated content. And we're able now to be able to curate that content in a meaningful manner and take advantage of it as well in our marketing. And in particular, the increased use of video in the wider marketing communications mix, not just for adverts that are presented across TV, but also or online, but also throughout social media. Video is becoming very much an important part of the tools that we use to market the island of Ireland. And the brand extension, not just the Ireland brand, but also over this last number of years, Ireland's content pool as a brand in itself has become synonymous with quality content. And that's something that we want to uphold in our relationship with Censure, and that we want to develop over the next number of years. So in choosing Censure and the Censure DAM, we have to understand that Tourism Ireland and our two partner organisations, Fáilte Ireland and Tourism Northern Ireland, are public sector bodies, we're public sector agencies. So therefore we're required to re-tender on a regular basis for any procured services that we have. And we have to do so in compliance with public procurement guidelines. Now, it's an onerous task that, to go out to a full public tender, but the process also affords Tourism Ireland and our partners the opportunity to review, in particular for the DAM, our DAM requirements, and to seek an enhanced system offering. So Censure was very good. They tendered along with a number of other DAM suppliers. And the reasons now here are for an insight into why we chose Censure DAM over others. The video asset management, transcoding of video and download into different codecs and formats, was very important. In the past, I'll give you an insight. we actually had to upload 9 different formats of video into a previous dam that we had. The formats were included those codecs and formats that various media organizations around the world would use, and also were converted into the different frame rates that are used, such as PAL or NTSC in different parts of the world. So that was an onerous task and a costly task. Now we upload one version of a video, and where people who want to use that video are able to download into the different codecs and formats that they need. This is a big saving both in time and efficiency. We also required a dam solution with a powerful and tried application programming interface, or API, REST API, and that's what Senture had, because integrating the dam system is very much a part of maturing in the use of dam, as the title of this presentation indicates, and that's something that we really wanted to explore, particularly over the next couple of years, and try to integrate our dam system into other types of marketing software and marketing technology software that we're using. And greater control of asset security via user access management. The web client portal and the public portals that we have allow us to differentiate between different types of users and therefore manage the security of access. And the domain setup also helps us do that. As 3 separate partners, we each have our own domain within Senture, but we were able to share across those domains. And the web client portal allows us to promote the collaboration that we have been talking about and that we seek as a means to ensure that we have the correct content available and that we're able to share that content with our partners as well. And Grow Maturity in DAM has enabled us to move, as I mentioned before, to DAM 2.0, or a second generation DAM with Senture. So I've been talking a lot about content, and now I'm going to show you some of that content in the form of images. This has been Bulbin Mountain, County Sligo, and these are some of the iconic locations that we have around the world. This is Blarney Castle in County Cork, where if you kiss the Blarney Stone, you're given the gift of eloquence. And I've been to Blarney a number of times, but I haven't actually kissed the stone, which if I had kissed the stone, this presentation might actually be an awful lot longer than it is. So we'll have to see about that. But these are iconic locations, as I've said. Carrick-a-Ree Rope Bridge is just a few miles out the road from where I'm living at the moment. It's a spectacular landscape and seascape. And for those who have the courage to walk across a very, very slim rope bridge to the island, it's well worth the experience. Cliffs of Moher, again, somewhere that's very stunning on the west coast of Ireland that a lot of people go and visit. And this particular image was taken on an evening in the summer where there's a lot of stormy clouds, and gives a very powerful impression of the experience that you would get when you go there. Quieter part of Ireland, but no less picturesque, is Connemara. And this is Derryclare Loch with the Benz mountain range in the background. A beautiful place to visit. And on the islands of Ireland that are dotted around the coastline, Dúnaingeas is a former fort, which has been ravaged actually over the centuries by the pounding waves of the Atlantic Ocean. It started off being a round fort, but the storms and the waves have eroded at least the half of the fort that used to be right next to the cliffs, and you only see a part of it there now, but a spectacular place to come to. And every couple of years, Red Bull comes along and has a diving competition off these cliffs into a natural pool of water, more so them than me. I'm not sure if I would have the courage to do that, but spectacular nonetheless. Again, the Dunluce Castle just out the road from me as well, the scene of a lot of different films, and also beautiful in itself with the white rocks in the background. And you'll see there as well, off to the right, there is the Royal Portrush Golf Club, where the Open was held just a couple of years ago. Some smaller intimate places we have here in the island as well is Garnish Island down in County Cork. It is an island. The experience of going across in a small ferry takes you past some little islands and islets where the seals bask and have become very photogenic. They know when the ferry's coming and are happy to play for the audiences of people who are taking some photographs and selfies. And one of my own images is actually taken just out along the coastline here. It shows the beautiful sunsets that you have along the beaches here on the island of Ireland. So very beautiful. And for those who are interested, it's a great place to go sea fishing as well. So let's have a look at how, even with all these wonderful assets that we have available to us in terms of video, which we've seen at the start of this presentation, and the images which we've just had a look at, how COVID-19 has impacted on our opportunities to market. And there's the COVID itself. And we will have a little look because COVID hasn't just impacted on Tourism Ireland's marketing plans that we have in place, but on the tourism and hospitality industry in the wider travel trade right across the world, not just here in the island of Ireland. The confinements, the lockdowns that we've had to undertake, the isolation, the social distancing, and the ban on travel that we've had has hit this particular industry very hard. And for Tourism Ireland and our partners, what we've been trying to do is very much keep the island of Ireland top of mind to our audience as a holiday destination through what we call the Fill Your Heart with Ireland social media campaign, which has extensively used assets from the dam itself. The Fill Your Heart with Ireland campaign has also provided a platform both for cultural communities here in the island of Ireland and the wider tourism industry to communicate with and grow their audience even during this COVID-19. And that's very much been facilitated both to the industry and also through the media through the use of assets via the dam. A number of TV programs, documentaries and other fictional fact-based programs are meant to be filmed here in the island of Ireland over this last year. And some of them were able to go ahead, some of them were not because of the lockdowns that we had, but the media and those filmmakers were able to make great use of the B-roll assets, for example, that we had within the dam system, which meant that they were able to go to the broadcast dates for the programs and meet those dates basically through using our assets. And that was very, very good. It gave us a lift and it meant that the programs went out on time and we were able to incorporate that into our marketing. St. Patrick's Day this year was a great opportunity for us to reach out to our full audience around the world. St. Patrick's Day is March 17th each year, and that's when people who are part of what we call the Irish diaspora, people who have traveled the world, who are now in far-flung places, or who've had some link through their ancestors back to Ireland, or even those people who just like being Irish for the day. And we're able to roll out a varied program this year just to keep interest in St. Patrick's Day and interest in Ireland very much in people's minds. And the Greenings, which is an initiative started about 12 years ago in Australia and has grown over the years. We thought that this year, because of COVID, it would be a little bit less impactful. But we actually had over 650 landmark sites around the world go green on St. Patrick's Day this year, which is absolutely fantastic. They saw this as an opportunity themselves, even during COVID, to show that at some point they will be open for business. And it was a surprise for us, but a welcome one that we're able to include all 650 landmark sites in our greetings, but also be able to tell the world that this was happening as well on St. Patrick's Day. And lastly, the Fill Your Heart with Ireland campaign will continue through this year ahead, hopefully, of a kickstart program and campaign to maybe take advantage of the pent-up demand for travel amongst our overseas audience. We're hoping that will take place, and in the coming weeks, if we're given the green light from government, we'll be able to maybe open the borders a little, open the travel routes, and start to at least think about moving out of COVID and inviting people to come here on holiday again, which we're all looking forward to. Now, enhancements with Senture. I want to just have a little look at some of the developments that we've made from the basic Senture product that we purchased off the shelf and that we're tailoring for our specific use. And the highlights of some of the things that we've done over this last year in working with Senture are integration, for example, with the Adobe Bridge software program, which allows for the metadata templates within Adobe Bridge to be used and to be mapped back into Senture again. So this allows us, as part of a commissioning workflow, to provide our creatives with the templates in Adobe Bridge, where they apply the metadata before it even comes into Tourism Ireland and our partners. And when that comes in, we are adding value at that point when we upload that into Senture. And then the metadata then will be applied at each stage of the asset life cycle as we go through into our campaign and journey management as well. So this is the first of the integrations that we're making with the Senture DAM into the Adobe Bridge product, but we're also making others as well. So this has been successful and will be piloted on the new commissions that we undertake over the next few months. One of the big areas in terms of managing content and managing assets is about review and expiry, and particularly with curated content, we want to make sure that we're notified when assets are coming up for review, and this is something that we've included, and that it will be of great benefit because in the coming year or two, we have a number of assets which are due to expire or where we have the opportunity to extend licenses, and having those notifications ahead of time into the admins will be very, very useful. And then also something that we've worked on, particularly tied in with our taxonomy and the categories we use to manage some of the assets that we have, are hierarchical keywords, which we're moving to the public portal as well to help improve the search options that people have available to them. And some other work that we are looking to do is custom filters, which allows us to show certain statistics through stored searches. Gender neutral registration form for access to the public portal. Not everyone identifies with the traditional forms of reference, and we wanted to make sure that that was in place. Automatic renewal of URL certificates, something that's very important each year, particularly for those URLs which reference our portals, and we didn't want to get hung up on some of the paperwork and time it takes to get those certificates in place. And we've also looked at developing a map which ties into the GPS coordinates for all the media assets. And that map is presented at the moment within the web client purely for internal staff, but at some point in the future, we're looking to move it into the portals as well when we come to update the user interface. And it will be another means of reference, particularly a visual means for people when they're looking for assets to be able to hone in on a particular asset group that refers to a particular region or geography on the island of Ireland. And one of the big advances that we made this year, particularly, is in terms of the hosting costs and storage costs that we have, and working with Senture, directly working with Senture team to find optimizations. And whatever savings we make in this area is plowed back into the enhancements that we're making overall within the Senture system. And it's all about the content. And this is another little pause time just to show you a little bit more of some of the great content that we have. This particular view is at the very north of Ireland, the northern tip of Ireland, Malin Head. And this was the place where the Star Wars film of the last series was filmed. And we now have lots of people who are interested in Star Wars coming and visiting this particular location. As you can see, it's quite spectacular. It's almost like the edge of the world. And not far south from Malin Head is Errigal Mountain. And this is just a great image. It's in the winter when the mountain's covered in snow and ice. and the reflection on the lake just below is absolutely stunning. And you can actually climb this mountain. It's not a difficult climb, but when you do, you're literally looking over most of the whole of the north of the island. It's absolutely a beautiful place to be standing up there, but I do admit you do need to bring a coat, not just in winter, but also in summer, just in case the weather turns, as it always does in Ireland. And this particular part of the world where I used to come from, I live on the north coast now, but I'm originally from an area called County Down, or the Kingdom of Down as it's known. And the Mourne Mountains actually are there in the backdrop, absolutely beautiful, great walking country as well. And the area close to it is called Murlock Reserve. The ponies come and are let out just to graze and keep, but at this time of the year spectacularly, this is why I included it, the beds of bluebells are literally carpet the whole area, and it's absolutely stunning. And on a really good day, you'll have every photographer in the country going down trying to take a shot just like this one. So lastly, just to give you a little insight in terms of how the dam system is used by ourselves. At the moment, we have quite a lot of assets in archive and not there, but we're freeing up over 42,000 assets for people to use. Of that, 32,000 odd are images and over 7,000 are videos. And the breakdown that we have is mainly JPEGs, TIFFs, EPS, MPEG-4 in terms of MIME types. But we also have currently over 21,000 assets in archive that are being reviewed at the minute and having metadata applied to them or reapplied to them or updated. And just to give you a little visual, this is these are the main MIME types that we have in. JPEGs make up a large part, even though they're a lossy format, but they're very, very useful in terms of social media outreach, which JPEGs are perfect for that. But it just gives you a little insight into the MIME types that we have and the volumes that we're working with at the moment. Though those are due to increase, we have a lot more assets to move into the dam system, and we hope to have upwards of 80 to 100,000 assets by the beginning of next year. Statistics on users is quite interesting. We have around 400 odd internal staff in agencies that are contracted to us using the system. But we have over 7,000 public portal users. That's through Ireland's content pool and Northern Ireland's content pool. And the public portal users are from all over the world. And even just this year in March, over 2,000 people registered this year during March as part of the response to the campaign that we ran around St. Patrick's Day and others. So we're starting to see, particularly coming out of COVID a little bit, that people are more interested, and the industry across the world now is more interested in starting to run marketing campaigns and promotions. And this is a direct result. They're coming in, they're using the content available. The breakdown is, and I've just indicated here by user type and industry, and I've pulled out media there, it's just quite high. Tourism industry, a great use, travel trade around the world as well, advertising, design, and all the government agencies as well. So quite a mixed bag of public users, but this tends to adjust to different times of the year. Media at certain times, more tourism industry at others. But it just shows you a little bit of the type of people that are using our system. And of those, in terms of breakdown by country, most is in Ireland, and then we have different people from around the world in different markets. I'll just run through those. Some of them are established markets around the world, such as Australia, Belgium, Denmark, France, from their European markets. Others are more emerging, like India and Japan. And still others are very close to home, which are more the United Kingdom, and also quite a large number of people in the US as well would use the system. This is just a little bit of indication breakdown by country, but we do have some quite unusual countries taking an interest, for example, and individuals taking an interest. Just to give you three interesting countries, we've had 3 people come in from Mongolia, one from the Bahamas, one from American Samoa, and we've also had someone from the Antarctic actually sign up to and download some assets. So we're in every continent in the world. We have users of our system, which is quite interesting. And I volunteered, by the way, to be the first person to sign up to work in our market office in the Bahamas if we ever actually open one there. Upcoming projects, just to let you know, we're looking to upgrade to one of the newer version of the Censure software release at some point in the next 3 months. We have, as Tourism Northern Ireland, looked to integrate the Simple View CMS system that they're using for their consumer website, and that's running at the moment. As Tourism Ireland, we're also going to be integrating with a Sitecore CMS interface for our new Ireland.com website, consumer-facing website. We're also looking to see if we can develop a model release app. It's in discovery at the moment, and we're going to be releasing funds in the next couple of weeks. With GDPR, there's a need to have a more digital workflow for the releases that we have, such as model releases, location releases, and other types of forms that were available. So this is something that we're interested in and something that we'll look to develop over the next 6 months. Reporting dashboards are very important to us, and we're looking to see if we can tailor those for partner use. And Censure are working very closely on this. It's an area that we feel Censure could do more in. We're looking at ways in which we can take the information that there is in the back end of the Censure system and make it a little bit more visible for us to use. We also have a new content process. We're working with a partner called OMD. It's very much targeting marketing to the individual rather than target marketing to large groups. So we're looking to see how the new DAM system and the content that it contains can actually integrate with that. And we've also developed, and particularly with our partners, are looking to develop the new media room or media hub functionality for curated content upload. That will come from our industry here in the island of Ireland, from creatives such as photographers and videographers and drone operators, and also from user-generated content. And that's going to be released through our partner Futch Ireland in the next couple of weeks. So the main goal in terms of our DAM maturity and coming to the end of the presentation now, I'll just outline a few things. The Airlines Content Pool, or DAM, allows for the visualization of marketing assets employed through the full range of communication channels to assure and reassure the prospective visitor that it's worthwhile to make the purchase of a holiday to the island of Ireland. That's our main goal. In working with DAM strategy, with Tourism Ireland and our partners, the ambition promotes a greater integration of our DAM into our marketing communications technology, which will help us reach that wider audience in real time, right in the moment, with individually targeted messages. And that's what our main goal is, and that's what we're rolling out at the moment as organizations in cooperation with Censure. And what we want to get to is have the great content that we have, in which we've been showing you today in the presentation, supported by the DAM system and allied with inspiring communications, will allow Tourism Ireland to project the Ireland brand to the world. And that's our main goal. And that's hopefully something that we're going to realize through the DAM maturity that we've developed over this last number of years, and working with Censure and the functionality of the DAM that they're able to bring to the table and that we are able to use. So I'll just show you, I'll just skip back in to a few of the images that we have. This is an image of Sybil Head down in Dingle. And this is actually where Star Wars was partly filmed as well. But it's an absolutely beautiful place. And if you ever get a chance to visit the Dingle Peninsula, you won't be disappointed at all. It's a place I love myself. That's one of the pictures I've taken, actually. Clew Bay in County Mayo. I'd shown you a little earlier about the mountains and the bends of Connemara. And these are a little bit further north again in Mayo. And this particular bay and the views over it, there's 1,000 islands here. Some of them are occupied, some of them are for holiday homes, but it's absolutely beautiful, particularly on a good day. And then lastly, we have Titanic in Belfast, one of the biggest draws for visitors, particularly in the north of Ireland. and one that is due to reopen again in the coming weeks, and one that we're hoping to, over the next second half of the year, invite lots of people to come and visit again. So I will pass over to Cameron, and I believe we'll get the opportunity to have a few questions.
Thanks, Patrick. That was a fantastic insight into the journey Tourism Ireland have made. And it's great to hear the solution is still evolving and expanding. I'm sure everyone who's watching is very jealous. It must be fantastic to work with all those wonderful images and videos every day. Patrick has kindly agreed to stay on and answer any questions, so please join us in the Meet the Expert session now. See you there. Thank you.